I had to come this evening. My son was one of Jimmy's, he used to play t-ball. And on the evenings after school, my son used to go to Bartlett. He used to go to Jim's house for homework. And I used to wonder, who is this Jim Buck? Every evening you're going to Jim Buck's house. I want to go there and see who he was. So I did go. And there was a lot of kids there doing homework, and there was chips and cookies and drinks, and the kids were just happy there. It was a bachelor's apartment, but the kids were happy. And I realized, Ian, this is good, because my husband died a long time ago, and Jim was there to just nurture Ian along.
There's a couple of people that say the same thing, but the thing that I remember most about Jim Buck was the Kool-Aid. The first time I met him, after the practice, he brought in the Kool-Aid and everything. He coached me Pee Wee with Walter, and then I got to know him because I used to work at the arena, so I was very, we used to talk a lot, and he was on the ball. But one thing, I didn't know that he passed away. It was my brother from New York called me on Monday, and he goes, you know what, Jim Buck passed away. I didn't know. And it's a funny story that it's my brother from New York calls me, because I remember a while back when my brother was younger and he was hanging around with shady characters. Jim Buck was always around Parc-Extension, goes Costa. He was watch Georgie, because he's hanging around with some shady characters that don't like him. So it's just so ironic that it's Georgie from New York calling me and saying Jim Buck passed away. So that's what I wanted to add, and I wish him all the best up there. And
PEYO was his family. Kids were his family. He could argue with adults, but he very seldom argued with kids. And they would take advantage of him a lot of times, tease him and so on like that, but Jim took it good-naturedly, okay? And he helped a lot of these kids, like I said, growing up in Parc-Ex. And some of the things that Costa just mentioned about Jim telling Costa, watch your brother. Well, I have a story of two kids growing up in Parc-Ex. One of them is a Greek kid, the other one was an English kid, but the English kid was a terror. He ended up robbing banks and everything like that. But they hung around together when they were 11, 12 years old. And Jim saw that. And what he did is he told the father, because he knew the Greek father, he said, look, don't let him hang around with him. And the story comes out because I was in a bank of Montreal downtown. And all of a sudden they say, oh, Wally, this kid's a teller. And he asked me, where's the kid? And I said, you're lucky that Jim Buck was in your life and told your father not to hang around with this kid because he ended up in jail. And many times he ended up in jail. But the story can be repeated many times.
We had the hockey tournament that comes around every year. We had our 25th anniversary that Junior Odat, which is our sports coordinator, organized. And we did have a moment of silence, like you can see on one of these pictures, for Mr. Jim Buck for the opening ceremonies, the opening face-off. And we did commemorate a trophy for the most disciplined team, because every year at the arena, Jim Buck would always work the downstairs. He loved the kids, would serve juice, chips, and he would be the one that knew which were the teams that were best behaved and worst behaved and everything else. So I think it was an honoring tribute to him to commemorate that trophy. We called it James Elden Buck Most Disciplined Trophy for our 25th anniversary.
Monday, I saw it in the paper, in the Gazette, that he had passed away in December. And this evening was the memorial. And I said, oh boy, I couldn't miss it. I have to be here.
Jim, wherever you are, we love you. And we're going to sadly we miss you.